What's on the agenda today? Ah, Brett Keane. Let's see what sort of stupid you cooked up this time.
You know, one of the most stupidest
It's most stupid, not most stupidest. As in, that was one of the most stupid things I've ever heard.
arguments I've ever heard from non-believers is, so are you stating that because God is all-powerful and that He's all-knowing that might means right? Of course it does.
Except, God isn't all-powerful, is he? What about that time he got bested by chariots of iron? And the Lord was with Judah, and he drove out the inhabitants of the mountain, but could not drive out the inhabitants of the valley, because they had chariots of iron. And why did he rest on the seventh day? If he were all-powerful, he wouldn't need to rest. I mean, he created an entire universe, but 7 days in and he's all tuckered out. And let's not forget about that might means right bit. First off, it's might makes right, not means right. What might makes right basically says is whomever is the most powerful generally dictates what's considered right and wrong. This is often used to describe totalitarian regimes. It also doesn't imply that because they are the most powerful, their sense of right and wrong is actually better than anyone else's. It simply means that because they are the most powerful, they can impose their sense of judgment onto other people. It doesn't make them correct, it makes them bullies. What might means right implies is that because they are the most powerful, their moral compass is the most accurate. By that metric, in 1930s Germany, Hitler's morals were right because he was the most powerful. See where that doesn't work?
And even the atheist deep down inside feels that way, or either he just doesn't pay attention to his own words whenever he speaks. Ask any atheist out there that you know, should a woman have the right to be able to kill her own baby?
No, but thankfully infanticide is already illegal.
If the baby is dependent on her, if the baby is inside her body, the atheist will say it's her body, it's her right to choice to kill the life inside of her if it wants to.
That's not exactly what abortion is. Abortion isn't killing a baby because it's not yet a baby. You don't abort babies, and they aren't unborn children. They're raisin-sized collections of cells, they're embryos. And embryos aren't humans, therefore it is not murder.
Well, God created the entire universe. He created you, me, everyone that you know. Since it's his body of work, shouldn't he be allowed to destroy and kill whatever he likes?
No, for the same reason infanticide isn't okay. Or just murder in general. Even if God created us, that doesn't give him any right to kill us as he pleases. You don't have the right to kill your children, even if all they ever did was whatever they could possibly do to disgrace your name. That's a morally bankrupt stance to take. And again, analogizing that with abortion is ridiculous, because it isn't what abortion is.
And still remain good? No one says that a abortionist or a woman who commits abortion is evil because of what she did.
Because it isn't.
They simply state that it's her body and she can do with it as she wants, and
Because it is.
that's good in the eyes of atheists. If you were to ask the question, is it okay for homosexuals to stick each other's genitals into each other's anus, is that okay?
Yep.
They'll state, well, that's their body. If that's what they want to do with, then they should have that right. Might is right. So therefore, they've approved laws stating that homosexuals can get married, homosexuals can do whatever they like, just as long as they're consenting adults.
It is their body, and they can do with it as they please, so long as it doesn't maliciously harm someone else. Besides, gay marriage and gay sex are not one and the same, nor are they interchangeable. And we've majorly decided that it is perfectly reasonable for them to get married, so your application of might makes right here doesn't work. Also, we didn't make a law saying that homosexuals can do whatever they like so long as they're consenting adults. If that were the case, then it would be legal for two lesbians to go on a murder spree so long as they both agreed on it.
Well, God is a consenting creator of the universe.
Have you read the Bible? I wouldn't exactly consider God consenting.
He is the one that created you, me, and everybody that you know. It's his body. Can he not do with human beings any way that he likes? Just as you say that it's okay for human beings to have anal sex with each other, just as you say it's okay for human beings to abort each other.
No, because we aren't God's body. He doesn't own us, we aren't his property. If that were the case, then it would make no sense that he would even allow sin to exist and corrupt us in the first place. Especially if he were truly all-powerful. And by your logic, you'd be right to murder your children because they displeased you. And I'm betting you don't do that because you think it is wrong. But apparently you think that it's okay for God, and that God's morals are supreme, so it wouldn't really matter what you thought. God says it's okay to kill your kids. Next time they piss him off, fucking kill them.
Then it must be okay. It must be morally good because you're the one that votes for these laws and these things to be passed. Or is your opinion nothing more than subjective?
I might as well get this out of the way. All morality is subjective. Even God's morality is subjective. Besides, what you're really trying to say here is that subjective morality is arbitrary and unimportant. I don't want to spend too much time bleating on about why objective morality is nonsense, but I'll provide a link to a page in the description below that wonderfully explains issues with objective morality. It's really cool, check it out. I'll use an excerpt here. A subjective morality is one rooted in human feelings and desires. These are things that are most important to us. Indeed, the only things important to us. Human feelings are not arbitrary. It is not arbitrary that we love our children while most of us dislike and fear spiders and snakes, nor that most of us like the taste of chocolate while shunning excrement. Our feelings and attitudes are rooted in human nature, being a product of our evolutionary heritage programmed by genes. None of that is arbitrary.
You might be one of these type of atheists who get off on opening up the Bible and saying, oh, look at this, God ordained war, God condoned and allowed this war. But wait a minute, in our modern times, you as well as many other human beings stand by and you allow sons and daughters to be sent off to war to go kill people that they don't even know, and then those people that you don't even know, you end up killing them and they end up killing you, and you say at the end of the day it had to be done.
I'm pretty sure most people wouldn't get killed and think that it had to be done.
It was the moral just thing to do. What are we supposed to do? Just stand back and do nothing? Let this country invade another country? Let these people kill another group? Let this tribe kill another tribe? No, we say it's morally good and it's morally right. And we even ask ourselves, what took us so long to get in there and get things right?
Yeah, sometimes we do that. And sometimes it's none of our fucking business, so we stay out of it. We can't be involved in every conflict. It's just not our place. Any reasonable person knows this.
What took us so long to put in leaders that we feel need to be put in to run the show? What took us so long to get in there and kill those nasty people who were causing so much trouble and issue with another group?
There are plenty of reasons people start wars. Economy, resources, religion, defense of friendly nations. Not all of these reasons are entirely good or evil. It's subjective. It depends on what side of the conflict you're on. Also, you speak as if no one has ever protested a war. Look at Vietnam. Hell, look at today. There are plenty of people who protest against the ongoing war in the Middle East.
Even back then, whenever Adolf Hitler was doing his thing and Joseph Stalin was doing his thing and many dictators before them were doing their thing, we said it would be right and good to go in there and destroy them. Destroy every single damn one of them if need be. Stop them. Do whatever it takes.
Yes, we did stop them. But a good question to ask here is, why didn't God? 99% of people would agree that Hitler and Stalin were terrible. It's effectively consensus. So did God not think so? Was he just too happy when Hitler said that the Third Reich was holy? Or was it because Hitler was a Catholic and doing God's work? Or did God condemn it and still refuse to act upon it? Or did he think, nah, they got it covered. Only a few tens of millions of people will die through this whole thing, no big deal.
Don't you find it funny whenever it comes to God, that he's damned if you do, damned if you don't? People will complain because they'll say that God doesn't do enough. He allows too much. He's too damn patient. He doesn't get down there right away and stop horrible atrocities that happen.
Because he's supposed to be all-powerful and focused on us because we are his children. And if he is all-powerful and truly benevolent, you'd think he would do something about all the atrocities and negative things in the world, like war, famine, disease, natural disasters, poverty, the Holocaust, the fact that the sun gives us cancer, the male G-spot being in the anus when he's not supposed to use it.
So they'll get mad at him and say, well, maybe there's no God because he won't do anything. But then God does something. God gets down there right away, starts destroying and taking people apart.
Citation, please. Name one time, one singular occurrence where beyond a shadow of a fucking doubt, God has come down to intervene with anything.
For what they've done to each other, and then we say, oh my goodness, God is evil, God is horrible, yada 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 yada. But in the long run, if we were to compare the evil and the wrongs that humanity has done as a species, and then compared to them with God, God wouldn't hold a candle to the atrocities and the evil that we've done.
God literally drowned the Earth in a worldwide flood that would have killed billions of organisms and nearly brought an end to life on this planet. And he sentenced those who died in that flood to burn for all eternity in hell. That is worse than anything humans could ever possibly do. He doesn't hold a candle to us. He holds a fucking red supergiant star to us.
And you know why we're able to do the evil? Because God created the potential for it, and you've chosen to do it, even though God also created good.
God could have also just not created the potential for evil. You know, like an all-powerful being should be able to do. And if God cares about free will, that's fine. But if that's the case, then he wouldn't go out of his way to influence people into believing him. He would just let us be and never mind our actions. No preacher would ever say that God told me to spread the word of the Lord. If God were all-powerful and all-knowing, there would be no free will, only the illusion of free will. And therefore all the evil that exists is his fault, and he's unjust in his judgment. Or he isn't all-powerful, we do have free will, and he still created the potential for it, wherein he's still at fault for the possibility of the existence of evil in the first place. Which is it?
Is might right? Of course it is.
Anybody seen Hitler? Somebody get Hitler, tell him he was right.
If you have all the power in the universe, and you have all the objective truth, and you know every single thing there is to be known from the beginning of time in the universe, who can actually stand against someone who is that knowledgeable and that powerful?
I know someone, and he's way more fucking powerful than your God.
And his name is John C.